What is up, the YouTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to do a video about the topic of why the magic is the human being. So maybe I read some blockchain post, or I don't know, on Twitter, someone talking, I don't know, maybe about Bitcoin and stuff like that. And yes, I also find Bitcoin amazing. But I would actually say that the magic is more with the human being. And why is that? Like, why is not Bitcoin in my mind more superior than the human being? Well, the way I'm looking at it, and yes, Bitcoin is like superior than fiat in some way, in many ways, maybe. It's it's still slow a little bit to transfer, I know, but it's cool in a way. Yeah, okay. It's cool. It's more cool. It's way more cool. But the human being is even more cooler than Bitcoin. And there's a very simple reason because of that. And that's because human beings are so-called creators. So everything you're seeing in the universe, it's all just manifested by your mind, even though that might sound super weird. But if you look at it, what your eyes are seeing, it's a projection. It's a projection. You're seeing everything inside of yourself. So it's a projection from yourself. Hey, that might sound super weird, but if you're looking at it, everything you're seeing is inside of yourself. So human beings, they have this very interesting ability to sort of create things, being a creator, creating the experience you want, uh, creating your dream life, creating the circumstances that you want, and all of this. Not to get too much into woo-woo talk, but I mean, there's been a lot of talk about that, the woo-woo talk, that you can create stuff, and that might sound a little bit annoying, those kind of talks, because they always exaggerate it and stuff like that. But well, if you're actually looking at it, I mean, that is basically what you can do. Like, you can sort of create things. Smartphones, very, very interesting stuff. Here we have one. Here we have another one. Here we have many more. Here we have another one. Here we have another one. Now, why do I have so many phones? Well, I manifested it. I manifested it. It was on my mind. It was my dream. Have many phones. It worked. Okay, it really did work. And actually, when I look at all the experiences, it was always experiences that I in many ways wanted. Like, I wanted sort of that experience in many ways. So the human being is sort of the magic here. And the human being hasn't been explored that much by humans. They're mainly looking at maybe what other people are doing, but they're not exploring their own uniqueness and kind of becoming better at something and kind of moving into where they want to go. Sure, we have a little bit more people doing this now, but way more people can sort of explore that possibility. So the magic is with the human being, because they create stuff, and that is kind of one of these very unique things about humans, that is sort of is a big part of a big let's say mysterious part of this. Well, in a way, it's not that mysterious if we had a little bit of a higher understanding about energy and consciousness. I mean, yeah, I mean, so all here energy and consciousness. That's a scientific fact. So you have consciousness, and in many ways what that is, in some ways, if a person dives deeper into it, it's pure intelligence. Pure intelligence that hasn't been tampered by with memory. So we have this mix of consciousness and memory, and the magic is the pure intelligence. And sometimes people accidentally they touch this sort of dimension, the pure intelligence, and they can sort of see that, whoa, that is kind of epic when they do it, but it may not happen that often. Maybe they did it by accident sometime, that they accidentally touch that pure intelligence dimension. And when you have done that, you sort of see the silliness of memory in many ways, and you also see the silliness in many ways of most of the other physical stuff, the physical arrangements, which can be. I mean, that's not really the exciting part, right? It's intelligence, pure intelligence. If you can access that, that is the most fascinating thing. So being a human, you kind of have that possibility of accessing more intelligence and pure intelligence, and how you can find a this is cool. The cool part about being a human being is you can find really really deep satisfaction in evolving, and and becoming a new possibility. So for me, what it seems as when people are sort of looking at technology, this new technology, they find it very exciting, but it's almost as they're considering some object, that object is going to transform themselves as human beings. Well, it probably should be that they're starting to transform themselves as human beings, and then they also enjoy the object. So the object here, it can be the Bitcoin, it can be something else. But what I think people sort of missing here is, well, the Bitcoin is it was a pop out from someone had some kind of vision in their mind. They wanted this Bitcoin thing to happen, and then it happened because someone had that sort of concept in their mind first, and then it became something in the physical sort of world. But it seems as people want to kind of flip it around, where they want to look at the Bitcoin as that was some object that didn't come from the human being, while the human being was actually the source in many ways of these things. Because energy and consciousness, you know, if that is the only two things here, then that was some manifestation eventually from the human being. And human being can do millions of more of these sort of manifestations and kind of creations, because they can access pure intelligence. So the magic there is with the human being, and human beings should probably try to access pure intelligence more, like try to access that dimension. And when they do, they probably gonna get the rewards of it. They probably gonna see the benefits of it, and that can be pretty epic, to be honest. So this space is kind of interesting, the blockchain space, the decentralized space. What's interesting about this space is, as more humans access pure intelligence, and as they enjoy the process of doing something, that is the main reward that everyone is going to have. Like that should be the main reward. The people becoming, yeah, they get satisfaction seeing other people sort of evolve, and then that becomes the main source where people are That is what people sort of want then. Looking at other human beings sort of evolve, looking at themselves trying to evolve. And then everything else will, of course, follow. Anything else that a sort of a human being needs, because most of their needs is going to be taken care of kind of fast, just by having the latest gadgets eventually. Well, as they're going to go down in cost, people are going to have super fast computing devices, and then they can focus on doing their best creations, whatever now that is, whatever now it is. It doesn't. Maybe it's not even a creation with some music or video or something. Maybe it's a creation by having easier way to access the right people, and then creating interactions in the physical space, and that you're making some moves there. That can, it doesn't have to be some kind of social media creation. It can be something, communications with other humans, and sort of bringing that digital thing down to the physical, and playing with that, exploring with that concept. Because the magic here is the human being, that they can, even how much they explore, there's always more to sort of explore. And that's the beauty of life in many ways. So I think humans are going to discover this problem more and more, that they're going to move from object focus to realize, well, they are actually creating the objects, and that like the main source that's creating things, that is probably what humans should focus on a little bit more. Have a great day, DTube.